5 days away, 5 days from when the Treasury Department says we will hit the debt ceiling. What progress is Congress making? Joining us now, two of my favorite freshman congressmen, Republican Representative Dennis Ross from Florida and Democratic Representative Hanson Clark from Michigan. Gentlemen, it's great to see you again, and I love that you've been working together so well in Washington. I have to compliment you on this, but we are concerned about the debt ceiling, Congressman Clark, very concerned. What do you think that we need to do to not only get that debt ceiling approved, but make sure that government spending stays under control?
Well, number one, we need to increase the debt ceiling right now so that our investors won't get nervous, and that could drive up interest rates, which would drive up the overall debt. But there's two things we need to do to be able to get out of this financial situation we're at. We need to expand our economy, put more people back to work, help them save their money, and also reduce the main driver to our budget costs, our debt and deficit, which is health care costs based on the demographics, older, larger population, and to control the rate of medical technology. Okay. If we do that, put more people back to work, reduce our health care costs, pull out responsibly out of our military efforts, especially in light of Mr. bin Laden now being out of the picture, we can redirect much of that money in Afghanistan to reduce our deficit, secure our borders, and rebuild our cities, putting more people back to work.
Okay, Congressman Clark, I mean, you're targeting the military. That might not be so popular, but you're also targeting health care, another very scary one to go down. But Congressman Ross, let me take that same question to you. He's talking about health care, the military. Where would you start to make cuts, Congressman?
Well, the first thing we can do is look at the waste that's in government. Smart Government, or smartgovernment.com, I believe it is, has indicated that 22% of the programs that we have out there funded by the federal government are either duplicative or wasteful. We need to first of all look at where we're spending, where we don't need to be spending, and start cutting there. The next thing we need to do is list our essential government functions: national defense, public safety, transportation, infrastructure. Make sure that we're funding essential government functions. And those things that are an essential function of business, insurance companies, auto companies, banks, things of that nature, we don't need to be in, we don't need to be funding, and we need to be cutting that. But we have to make significant cuts this time. There's no question about it.
Congressman Clark, it's Greg Jarrett. Why not just cut every single federal program, no exceptions? That would include defense.
Here's why. Because that alone won't get us out of this financial problem, and then secondly, could actually hurt us. In order for us to get out of the debt and deficit and overspending, we need to grow our economy. We need more people to go to college. We need financial aid. We need to continue to invest in manufacturing, because it's our manufacturing capability that's made this country strong and powerful and created prosperity. I'm not just saying that because I'm from Detroit, but there are other areas that we've had growth in. But then secondly, we need to keep people healthier. That's the way you reduce health care costs. So we don't want to put Medicare on a voucher that won't cover people's health care costs. That's going to probably make folks bankrupt and broke as it is. So we've got to put more people back to work, control health care costs by creating healthier lifestyles and making sure that people get the health care treatment that they need that's affordable.
Look, you're talking about creating jobs, and most analysts tell us that we're going to have unemployment between 8 and 9% for the rest of the year, and that's just kind of the new reality. But Congressman Ross, at the same time, what we could do is revisit the corporate tax rate. Congressman Clark wants jobs created. Congressman Ross, why not reduce the corporate tax rate, put more money, more power into the hands of American companies that can actually do the hiring? Because the government's not doing it anymore.
First of all, that makes sense. But unfortunately, what makes sense doesn't always be what we do here. But if we don't reduce the corporate tax rate, we're going to continue to have manufacturers and other jobs go overseas. We need to eliminate the capital gains tax. We need to eliminate the estate tax. Economic growth is absolutely necessary for the career private sector jobs. Whatever we can do to incentivize that, we need to be doing that if we want to restart this economy.
Another question.
Well, gentlemen, it's Rob Basso here. Take a look at the American landscape right now. What is this debt ceiling, going to actually do? I don't think we've been told by our representatives, if this doesn't get raised, what's it going to do? It's never happened in history. Do you guys have an answer on what this is actually going to do if we don't raise the debt ceiling?
Congressman Ross?
I don't think we should. Oh, go ahead, Congressman.
Well, I think there have been occasions in the past where we have not raised the debt ceiling. I will tell you that I am not convinced that raising the debt ceiling is the right thing to do. If we cannot right now live within our means, what makes us think that we raise our borrowing limits, and we're going to be able to live within it again. We're going to either kick the can down the road to a greater calamity, or we're going to have to face it head on with this debt ceiling. If we look at our balance sheet and we see that there are assets over there, we ought to liquidate some of those assets to satisfy our indebtedness. We've got 70% of the lands out in Utah that ought to be brought into the tax rolls and brought into the private sector. We've got unused office buildings. We've got wasted assets that we need to liquidate. For goodness sakes, we can't just print more money. That's not going to be the answer. And raising the debt ceiling, in my opinion, right now, will have its hard times, will have its bumps in the economic road. But to raise it and not meet our obligations down the road would be even more catastrophic.
Okay, Congressman Clark, last word.
We have to raise the debt ceiling in order for us to pay for our obligations, to make sure that people receive Social Security. But let me give you the underlying issue. The real debt that's the problem isn't this federal debt that may be due generations from now. It's consumer debt. It's the mortgage that people have to pay next month, the credit card statement that may be overdue right now. So Congress needs to help people get out of their own personal debt burden, thereby helping Americans save more money and providing more capital to businesses so they can expand. That's how you make the country strong and stable, having Americans being free of personal debt.
We're all watching your work there in Washington. Congressman Clark, Congressman Ross, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.